The one line about her saying that she basically questioning whether or not she deserves everything she has, and I'm like, that's maybe an iffy line.
Caitlin Clark, the basketball star, was named Times Athlete of the Year. During her speech, she acknowledged her hard work but also mentioned white privilege, sparking a frenzy online. Did she just overshadow her own big moment?
You know, I'm starting to wonder if Caitlin Clark is doing this to try to fit in with her colleagues. I wonder if Caitlin Clark is doing this to make herself relatable to minimum wage earners in the...
Let's take a step back to understand the story behind her actions. Caitlin Clark was a beloved figure in Iowa, admired both on and off the court. In college, she wasn't just exceptional, she was a force of nature, averaging 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 8.6 assists in her senior year, shattering records and redefining limits. Beyond basketball, she amassed a devoted fan base that followed her into the WNBA. Caitlin Clark isn't just an athlete, she's a true phenomenon.
4 years building a fan base. She spent 4 years building a loyal following that played a critical role in propelling her into the superstardom that she has.
Caitlin Clark hit the WNBA running, delivering all-star level numbers as a rookie with 20.5 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 6.2 assists per game. Known for her 30-foot shooting range, she regularly drains shots from NBA distance, thrilling fans every time she crosses half court. Her game is changing basketball, pushing players and coaches to rethink shooting limits. From college to the pros, Clark's incredible skill and electrifying style have made her a fan favorite and a true game changer.
The way Caitlin Clark became a superstar, it is literally the old school method of building a star. It's how Michael Jordan did it. It's how rappers used to do it in the 90s and 2000s. First, you become a star at home, then you take over the mainstream.
You think Caitlin Clark would be universally adored, a young star bringing energy and new fans to the league. What's not to love? But it's not that simple. Her rapid rise has stirred some tension, with a few WNBA players feeling uneasy about the spotlight she's commanding. It's the dark side of success. The brighter you shine, the more shadows you cast.
4 years at Iowa, Caitlin Clark was beloved. She had the support of friends and family. She had the support of the entire state. She comes into the WNBA, and it is completely different. She goes from being loved to being vilified. She goes from being the hometown hero to being public enemy number one. She was literally left off the Olympic.
Here's the twist. Despite the jealousy and negativity, Caitlin Clark continues to uplift her fellow WNBA players. Incredibly selfless, she even influenced the league to introduce planes for team travel, improving efficiency for everyone. Clark consistently supports her peers, refusing to keep the spotlight solely on herself. She shares it generously, extending kindness even to those who criticize or undermine her behind her back. Her grace in the face of adversity only amplifies her greatness.
Throughout the entirety of the WNBA season, Caitlin Clark willingly shared her spotlight with anonymous players. She shared the spotlight with unknown players who were jealous of her. She shared the spotlight with players who were talking shit about her. She even shared the spotlight with former WNBA players who never wasted an opportunity to discredit or downplay the impact that Caitlin Clark was having on pretend basketball.
And just when you thought Caitlin Clark had finished proving her character, she went even further, sharing her moment with players who, despite their ingratitude, still benefit from her generosity. Unbelievable, right? So Clark wins the title of Athlete of the Year, a huge moment, but then she speaks, and what she says is like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Here's the kicker. Clark openly acknowledged her white privilege in the WNBA. Yes, you read that correctly. She actually said it.
Clark is cognizant of the racial underpinnings of her stardom. I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege.
Can you believe that during her big moment, Caitlin Clark chose to address race? Instead of focusing on her incredible achievements, she shifted the spotlight to a broader social issue, leaving some feeling she missed the occasion's celebratory tone. Yet, when you take a step back, there's no denying she earned the award. Her talent and impact speak for themselves.
Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year, and deservedly so. No one had a greater impact on sports in 2024 than Caitlin Clark. But during the interview, the inevitable topic of race was brought up, since, we can no longer talk about athletes without their race being involved.
Now you might be wondering why she would say that. Good question. Let's break it down. Clark's comments weren't just about race. They were about connecting. As the new kid on the block in the WNBA, she's facing a lot of attention. Acknowledging her privilege might have been a way for her to show humility and demonstrate her awareness, trying to bridge the gap between her position and her teammates' experiences.
What the hell are you doing? This is your moment. Why are you giving your spotlight to someone else? If you're a superstar, you keep the spotlight on you at all times.
Caitlin Clark's attempt to address race backfired. Some WNBA players and commentators were confused and disappointed, wondering why she chose this moment to talk about race. Fans who loved her for her game felt alienated, thinking it wasn't the right time to bring it up.
It should have stopped at, "I've earned every single thing." Caitlin Clark has earned her spot. She busted her ass her entire life to get where she is. Nothing was given.
Clark's comments on white privilege sparked an instant divide among her fan base and fellow players. Some praised her for her awareness and willingness to speak out, while others felt she was overreaching or even insulting the league by bringing up something they believed doesn't exist. It was as if Clark unknowingly stepped on a landmine she didn't see coming.
Nothing was given to her. This is the part of the interview where I would have asked, "Tell me about your white privilege. If you've earned everything, how have you benefited from white privilege? Give me an example, just one example."
But wait, there's more to this situation. It's not just about Caitlin Clark, it's a reflection of the broader issues of race in sports, especially within a league like the WNBA where racial dynamics are complex. Clark's comments have opened up a can of worms that the league might not be prepared to confront.
A lot of players in this league they've been really good and have been black players. The league has kind of been built on them. The more we can appreciate that and highlight that and continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made the league incredible, I think that's very important. I have to continue to try to change that. The more we can elevate black women, the more it's going to be a beautiful.
Clark's speech might sound familiar if you recall Paige Bueckers from 2021. Back then, Bueckers made headlines with her comments about race and privilege, using her platform to highlight black women in sports. It's a bit like deja vu, right? Both athletes are using their voices to spark conversations about racial issues within their respective sports.
And it is her equivalent of the Paige Bueckers speech.
Here's the thing, Booker's speech didn't go over well either. She faced significant backlash for discussing race as a white athlete. You might wonder if Clark learned anything from that. It's not so simple. Both Clark and Bueckers were trying to share the spotlight, aiming to use their fame to uplift others. In theory, it sounds great, but in practice, it didn't go as planned. Instead of praise, they got pushback, with people accusing them of virtue signaling or trying too hard to be woke. It's as if they can't win no matter what they do.
Wrong with what she said. She basically gave the Paige Bueckers speech. And in fairness, I don't understand why anyone would have an issue with that. The one line about her saying that she basically questioning whether or not she deserves everything she has, and I'm like, that's maybe an...
Is this really about race, or is it about star power? Some think Clark and Bueckers are trying to deflect attention from their success, while others believe they're genuinely addressing important issues. This controversy isn't going away anytime soon, challenging us to reflect on race, privilege, and the role of athletes. For Clark, it's not just about basketball anymore. She's playing a new game with higher stakes. Clark's bringing in fans like crazy, packed arenas, soaring TV ratings, and social media buzz the WNBA has never seen before. Her long-range shots and flashy passes are turning casual viewers into die-hard fans overnight. It's like she's got a magic wand. Every time she steps on the court, new fans appear out of thin air.
So this is going to be a really funny situation because, one, it's not going to change anything from people that are fans of Caitlin Clark. Because as much as what people want to say, people are fans of Caitlin Clark because she shoots from 30. Like, people don't realize that. Is that no matter what, Caitlin Clark shoots the ball from 30. She plays the game at a fast pace, and she is probably the most fun basketball player to watch.